The Galactic Council's decree had been absolute. Humanity was too dangerous, too unpredictable, too violent to remain within the civilized territories of the inner spiral. Ambassador Kelthrix of the Vorentine Commune had delivered the verdict himself, his crystalline form refracting the cold light of 1,000 watching species. "You will take your ships, your people, and your barbaric ways beyond the rim," he had pronounced. "There, in the lawless dark between galaxies, you may rage and destroy to your heart's content. But you will never return." That had been 73 years ago. Now Kelthrix stood aboard his diplomatic vessel, staring at the scanner readings with something his species had rarely experienced: fear. The expedition had been routine, a survey mission to catalog the resource potential of the rim territories, those sparse systems that formed the ragged edge between the galaxy proper and the intergalactic void. No one expected to find anything but dead rocks and cosmic dust. No one expected to find them. "Ambassador," his science officer chittered, her antennae quivering with agitation. "You need to see this." The view screen flickered to life and Kelthrix's breath caught in his thorax. Where there should have been nothing, there was everything. Spanning 12 star systems connected by a web of massive space stations and artificial habitats was a civilization that shouldn't exist, couldn't exist. The humans had been exiled with barely enough ships to sustain their population. With outdated technology and dwindling resources, they should have withered and died in the cosmic desert beyond the rim. Instead, they had built an empire. "How?" Kelthrix whispered. His science officer pulled up the data streams. "They started with the asteroids, Ambassador. Every rock, every ice chunk, every scrap of matter they could find. They built foundries in the void itself, massive industrial complexes that harvested hydrogen from the interstellar medium to fuel fusion reactors. Within a decade, they had established 17 mining operations across 4 systems. The images continued to scroll past, enormous ring habitats spinning around red dwarf stars, fleet after fleet of vessels that dwarfed the Council's most advanced dreadnoughts. But these weren't warships. They were colony ships, mining platforms, factory vessels, each one a testament to relentless human industry. "They called it the Forge," the science officer continued. "Their engineers worked in conditions that would kill most species, radiation levels that would sterilize our crew in hours, gravitational stress that would crush a Vorentine's crystalline matrix, temperature extremes that ranged from near absolute zero to the surface of a sun. But humans, they adapted. They built suits, then they modified themselves. Genetic engineering, cybernetic enhancement, whatever it took to survive and thrive in hell itself." Kelthrix moved closer to the screen. One image showed a human worker, her body a fusion of flesh and metal, standing on the surface of a nickel-iron asteroid as a solar flare erupted behind her. She wasn't running for shelter. She was working, her plasma cutter carving through rock like butter, her augmented eyes watching the radiation storm with what could only be described as indifference. They didn't just survive, Kelthrix realized. They conquered it. "There's more, Ambassador." The science officer's voice dropped. "We've intercepted their communications. They're not calling themselves humans anymore. They're the Rimborn, children of exile, forged in fire and iron, and they remember. They remember every species that voted to cast them out. They remember every insult, every claim that they were too primitive, too savage for civilized space." A chill ran through Kelthrix's form. "Are they preparing for war?" "No, Ambassador." The science officer pulled up another data stream. "They're preparing for trade." The transmission came through moments later, audio only and perfect galactic standard. "Greetings, Vorentine vessel. This is Forge Command. We've been tracking your expedition since you entered the outer systems. Before you ask, yes, we could have destroyed you at any time. We chose not to. That should tell you something about who we've become." The voice was human, unmistakably so. But there was a hardness to it, like steel tempered in starfire. 73 years ago, the Council decided we were too dangerous for their perfect civilization. They were probably right. We are dangerous, but not in the way they thought. We're dangerous because we refuse to die. We're dangerous because we take impossible situations and turn them into opportunities. We're dangerous because when you leave us in the dark, we learn to see. Kelthrix found his voice. "What do you want?" "What we've always wanted, respect, recognition, and now we have something you need. Rare earth elements, heavy metals, exotic matter harvested from the edge of reality itself. The Rim is rich beyond your wildest dreams and we control it all. The Council tried to exile us to poverty and death. Instead, they gave us a monopoly on the richest resource region in local space. The human's voice carried a hint of dark amusement. So here's our offer. Trade agreements, technology exchange, cultural dialogue. The Rimborn are willing to rejoin galactic civilization as equals, not as primitives begging for acceptance, but as the industrial powerhouse that we've become. Take our offer back to the Council. They have 1 month to respond. And if they refuse? Kelthrix asked, though he already knew the answer. Then the galaxy can keep buying from us at premium rates, or they can try to take what we've built by force. We both know how that would end. Humans didn't survive the exile by being weak, Ambassador. We survived by being relentless. We turned the worst punishment the Council could imagine into our greatest advantage. The transmission ended, leaving Kelthrix alone with the impossible reality before him. The humans hadn't just survived their exile, they had transformed it into a crucible, emerging as something harder, stronger, and more formidable than anyone had imagined possible. Exiled beyond the Rim with nothing but determination and ingenuity, they had built a kingdom of fire and iron that now held the galaxy's economy in its calloused, augmented hands. As his ship turned back toward Council space, Kelthrix understood with crystal clarity. Humanity hadn't been cast out of civilization. Civilization had cast out its future masters, and they had spent 73 years making sure everyone would regret it. The Rimborn had come home.